Thank you for visiting our channel. Please like, share and subscribe for more exciting food videos. Few steaks make a statement like the tomahawk. This massive, bone-in ribeye is a showstopper, with its long French bone resembling a tomahawk axe. It's become a favorite for steakhouses and home cooks who want to indulge in rich marbling and bold flavor. The tomahawk isn't just about looks, it's one of the most indulgent cuts, prized for its tenderness and deep beefy taste. Whether you're grilling or searing, this steak turns any meal into an event. Let's break down how to cook and enjoy it like a pro. What is a tomahawk steak? Picture a steak so impressive it looks like it belongs on a caveman's dinner plate. That's the tomahawk, a ribeye with a dramatic, foot-long bone left intact. The name comes from its shape. The French bone, cleaned of meat and fat, resembles the handle of a tomahawk axe. This isn't just any steak. It's thick, usually 2 inches or more, heavy, 30–45 ounces, and packed with the rich marbling ribeyes are known for. The bone isn't just for looks, it adds flavor and helps cook the meat evenly. The anatomy of a tomahawk steak. A tomahawk is essentially a ribeye steak with an extended rib bone. Here's what sets it apart. Bone-in ribeye. The same tender, well-marbled meat as a classic ribeye, but with the bone left long. French trimmed bone. The bone is scraped clean for presentation, giving it that iconic, handle, look. Thickness and weight. Typically 2 to 2.5 inches thick, weighing 2 to 3 pounds. It's a steak meant for sharing, or for the very hungry. How it differs from other cuts of beef. While all these cuts are delicious, the tomahawk stands out in 3 ways. Ribeye versus tomahawk. Both come from the rib section, but the tomahawk's extra long bone makes it juicier and more flavorful. The bone acts like a heat conductor, keeping the center tender. Porterhouse, T-bone comparison. These cuts combine strip and tenderloin, while the tomahawk is pure ribeye. The tomahawk's marbling, fat distribution, is richer, making it more buttery. Cooking methods. Because of its thickness and bone, the tomahawk benefits from reverse searing, slow cooking first, then a high heat finish. Thin steaks like T-bones can't handle that method without overcooking. Why choose a tomahawk steak? If you're after a steak that delivers on every level, flavor, juiciness, and wow factor, the tomahawk ribeye checks all the boxes. It's more than just a meal. It's an experience, designed for those who appreciate bold taste and stunning presentation. Here's why it stands above the rest. The flavor profile. The tomahawk steak is all about deep, rich beefiness. That extra thick cut and long bone lock in moisture, while the generous marbling, those thin streaks of fat, melts as it cooks, basting the meat from the inside. The result. A steak that's incredibly juicy. The bone acts like a natural insulator, keeping the meat tender. Buttery smooth. Ribeye fat gives it a melt-in-your-mouth texture. Full of umami. High heat caramelizes the exterior, adding a savory crust. Unlike leaner cuts, every bite of a tomahawk feels indulgent. It's the steak equivalent of biting into a perfectly ripe peach, dripping with flavor. Perfect for sharing and special occasions. A tomahawk isn't just a steak. It's a centerpiece. The long, polished bone makes it a showstopper on the grill or platter, turning dinner into an event. Here's why it's ideal for celebrations. Built for sharing. At 2 to 3 pounds, it easily feeds 2 or 3. Impressive presentation. That dramatic bone grabs attention before the first bite. Memorable meals. Whether it's an anniversary, birthday, or just a weekend treat, this steak makes it special. Imagine serving this at your next cookout. No one's reaching for a cell phone when a tomahawk hits the table, it commands the room. And since it cooks evenly thanks to the bone, you're guaranteed a crowd pleaser without stressing over perfection. It's the kind of steak that turns a Tuesday into a feast and a special night into something unforgettable. How to cook a tomahawk steak. Cooking a tomahawk steak isn't just about technique, it's about giving this dramatic cut the care it deserves. Because of its thickness and bone, it needs a little extra attention compared to thinner steaks. But don't worry, the payoff is worth it. Here's how to nail it every time. Seasoning and preparation. Start with a steak that's cold, straight from the fridge. That might sound odd, but with a cut this thick, you want the center to stay cool while the outside gets a perfect sear. Pat the steak dry with paper towels. Moisture is the enemy of a good crust. Then, season liberally with coarse salt and black pepper. The tomahawk's size means it can handle, and needs, more seasoning than you'd think. For extra flavor, rub it with a light coating of olive oil, helps the sear. Crushed garlic, optional, but adds depth. A sprinkle of smoked paprika, for a subtle kick. Let it sit for 30 minutes at room temperature after seasoning. This helps the salt penetrate evenly. Searing and oven finishing method. A tomahawk's thickness means you'll use a two-step process. Sear first, then oven finish. Sear the steak. Heat a cast iron skillet or heavy pan over high heat until it's smoking hot. Add a high smoke point oil, like avocado or grapeseed. Sear the steak for 2 to 3 minutes per side, including the edges. You want a deep brown crust. Add aromatics. Toss in a few sprigs of rosemary, thyme, and a couple of garlic cloves. As they sizzle, spoon the infused butter over the steak for extra richness. Transfer to the oven. Place the skillet in a preheated 375 degrees Fahrenheit oven. Cook for 8 to 12 minutes, depending on thickness and desired doneness. Use a meat thermometer. 125 degrees Fahrenheit for rare. 135 degrees Fahrenheit for medium rare. 145 degrees Fahrenheit for medium. The bone acts like a heat conductor, so the steak cooks evenly. Now that you know what makes a tomahawk steak stand out, it's time to fire up the heat. In part 2, we'll cook it to perfection and show you how to serve it like a pro. Stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.